No, she's fine. Hi, everyone. It is the weekly wrap-up here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. I have a special guest here today. Her name is Eska. She was adopted by our operations director, and she's just here today. Was going to get her vaccines, but she's going to come back for that today, another day. Dr. C's out today, so she might be running around in the background, but there's always something going on, and you might be able to see her looking for Emery in the back, trying to get to Emery, who's on the table. There's always something busy and more things going on than we ever think here at the sanctuary, but it was good to smile and have a little puppy running around. As you guys know, I had to say goodbye to baby Jenga Blue. And so I'm not going to go into much detail because it's very, very difficult for me. But I do want to say I'm so forever grateful. Oops, that was the puppy's help. Come here. So forever grateful for the condolences and the wonderful support you guys gave me. And all I can say is, as sad as it was to say goodbye, I'm just forever grateful that I had almost 22 years with such a special cat that meant so much to me. So with that, I'm going to move on for my sanity. But we were just talking today about running a sanctuary with the new animal care manager and operations director, and how there's just so many moving parts and nothing stays static. And it can be really frustrating and stressful, but we're laying everything out. So let me show you. So part of what we do is we are laying out project lists. I don't know if you can see my computer there. And it is everything that we have to do. And this is just really construction. Everything we're gonna have to do this summer for all the construction. And that doesn't include animal care or vet days or donor things or events or fundraisers. And so we're trying to do this master list and then break it down into weeks. And today we've had, I think it's the third day the fence company's been here, and they're helping move that compound fence. And they're moving it a couple 100 feet, probably even further than that, so that we can accommodate more habitats for the residents we've rescued. And so it's lovely hiring a fence company, and then you think, oh, that takes that off our shoulders. But the reality is they've moved the whole fence, but we go back, our staff and interns and volunteers, and put the recurve, because we have a recurve on our compound fence, as added security. And then we also, the puppy's over there playing, we also patch the bottom so that it's rigid and that a cat can't get under. And so there's still a lot of work to do. I'm sorry, there's some, you just have to share what I'm seeing right now. I have a very happy distraction who is playing with the cat beds and everything. What are you doing, Eska? What are you doing? What is that? So if you're just joining us, one of the staff members brought in her puppy for today, and definitely a fun distraction. And the cats don't mind her at all, and Kiara loves her. But getting back to the real priorities at hand, even though the cute animals are always the priority, is that we're so excited that that fence is moving back. They're hoping if poles come in and the weather holds out that they can come back next week and start setting the poles for the bobcat area. So kind of we're seeing these, our projects for the summer are in chunks. Now we've always done heavy projects, but this is a big year. So we have the first chunk of what we have to do, which is build all the temporaries we're working on for the Bengals and hybrids. Then we have to move those Bengals and hybrids. But before we're doing that, we're trying to do some more mergers so that we know who can live with who when we build Catio Town. So that we're going to be doing that chunk. Then we have to tear down Catio Town all by May 15th at the latest. And then the contractors start there to build Catio Town. On top of that, because there are Asian leopard cats near where the construction's going to be, there's servals, we are preparing their areas, which might be shade cloths, other things to protect them from the sound and all the commotion that's going on. And we've just learned that, autumn bobcat, archer, they did not want to eat or come down from their trees or perches or glen when we were doing this building. So knowing that construction's going to be really close by in Caddo Town, they've been talking today about what's going to be the new feeding schedule. Do we have to get those bobcats fed first thing in the morning before any contractors come on site? Do the Asian leopard cats have to start being fed in PM so they're not leaving food? So when we have construction on site, even the current fence company, it changes the feeding schedule, especially for the small cats. The big cats don't mind, but the small cats are very sensitive to that. So we've been talking about what the new schedule is going to be. And then on that, why the contractors are here doing Caddo Town, we will be bouncing back to those bobcat yards that we're building, and we have to do the skirting on the floor. We're going to have to plant grass seed. We're going to bring in boulders, caves. We're going to have to bring in the building bungalows, all the electric, the kennel fronts, the chutes to that, the double doors. So even though the fence company helps with some big things, they don't do any of the finishing work. That stuff our staff and interns and volunteers do. And so we have all that, and then we have the cats that once Caddo Town's built, we have to do all the furniture in Caddo Town. So the building will be there, but they need their skywalks, their cat condos, their beds, their litter boxes, everything outdoors. And so then we have to move them back. And on top of this, we're still figuring out when we're going to do the recurve and the patch on the compound fence. And this is still without any maintenance that's going to have to be done in enclosures, pool openings. It's exciting, but it's a lot of moving parts. And so we're really trying to plan it out. And it's hard right now because not all of our crew days are filled to help. So we don't know if staff's going to have to do more heavy lifting or if volunteers can help. So we'll be doing a call out again. And then we still don't know, as we talked about last week, until March 15th if we get the AmeriCorps team. So we have to plan as if we have more full-time help and then plan again if we don't. And on top of this, we've said goodbye to interns this last week. That's kind of shift was up, their 6-month stint here, and we've welcomed new interns. So we're training and onboarding as well as that. It's been fun too, because as the Bengals are moving and they're going into temporaries just for the summer, it's still not as big as the areas we want them to be. So we're looking at what types of enrichment we can give them and stimulate them and keep them happy. Especially we don't want cats maybe picking on each other or being too nervous to go into dens when we move them to their temporary holding areas. So I've put on the wish list a lot of items that would really benefit us to give them new toys and enrichment to focus on once they move. And so if you're interested in that, definitely go to our Amazon wish list. We'll post it here. It was posted yesterday on our Facebook page as well. People, I'm just trying to see if there's any comments here. It's a little hard to read, it's small print. And we also rotated zones. So what that means is our caretakers are in a zone 1 to 2 months, and then they move to another zone. We have 3 zones, we call them. And that's so that everyone's cross-trained, that everybody gets experience with every species, and that we have succession planning in, and so that anybody can step in for anybody at any time. But Rio, who just moved to Zone 1, which has all the new Asian leopard cats and all the new small cats we rescued next year, she says, I know, I have to learn all their nuances again. And so it's almost like she knows all the protocol. She knows everything, but when you change a zone, you want to know those nuances that have changed over the last, it's probably 3 to 6 months since they've been in that, zones by the time they rotate. So that's what's going on right now too, and they're all doing great, and they all pick it up really fast, and it's just knowing what Sam and where he wants to eat versus Mindy, the Asian leopard cat, and then who's pooping in the water bowl so you can tell whose stool is whose, all that fun stuff of being a caretaker. Let's see what else is on our list. So I've also been putting together, which people get very excited about, is our annual yearbook. So Olivia Judson helped with that. I know the media interns. Julie, our volunteers, proofing all my articles that I wrote right now. And so we're hoping to get that in homes in April, but it takes that long to put it together when we're doing the yearbook. We also have kind of a list of things that we need to get done, and if there's any downtime, we have a project list. And so we've learned that as we've taken in more bobcats and moved them around, they have their bungalows and they have their 10 by 10 shifts, but not all of them have those smaller food shifts. And we like to train them in the food shifts if we ever have to evacuate because of a fire or something else, and especially on vet days or even moves and mergers, that they're really conditioned positively to go into the smaller area or a crate. So staff are going to be building more of that. They've built hammocks with all that fire hose that has come in. Kind of a few other things that have happened is, let's see, while we're doing all this construction and tear down, we have to have piles for what we call reuse, recycle, and throw. And so we want to salvage what we can of those buildings and the fence that we're tearing down to purpose in the future. But there's things that have to be stored, and with all the construction on site, construction materials, everything we're tearing down, and us taking up more space of our property for the habitats, we are getting creative at where we can store and move these things. We do have the other property as well, so that might become a storage facility, but we definitely have plans to build some buildings there, just not this year. And then some cat updates, because everybody loves cat updates. So Lupita is one of our little Savannahs who has always chosen to live alone. We've tried to merge her a few times, and she yesterday was acting normal and everything, but she looks like she's got a little swollen, I don't know if it's an abscess or joint or if it's just fur on her leg, but she's bearing weight and everything just fine, so we're watching her on that. Hi, Eska. Hi, little puppy. We have, let's see, who else was, so then as all of these mergers are happening with Asian leopard cats, I can't wait to share with you. We're waiting until we know it's final, but more Asian leopard cats have merged together. And I know a few of you guessed last week that we have another bobcat merger that we'll share with sponsors over the next week as well. We have two Bengals, which is a Savannah Andre and Bengal Harley, I should say. They're both domestic levels, and yet those guys had a scuffle. And then once they had a scuffle, the staff went and gave them extra treats and foods to kind of make sure they have full bellies and they might be, calm and quiet and everything. And so they ended up with them both vomiting. We think they overate, but they're both fine this morning. But it was crazy how much of attention to detail everybody pays on every cat. And when we do play dates, there has been midnight checks, 2 a.m. checks. It's been just very busy for the caretaking staff right now. Everybody else is doing pretty well. I mean, the geriatric cats that are still geriatric, like Noah, they're still getting their meds and everything, but there isn't been any major changes, and we know things can change on a dime with so many elderly cats. But Gino and Sophie are doing well. I don't know if you guys have tuned into the watchwildcats.com on YouTube. You'll definitely want to do that, because that is our live cam, and it is on the Ukraine Cubs this week. And so it's been nice weather, so I'm sure they've been outside, but definitely tune in to watchwildcats.com. And I think those are my quick updates. It's always, somebody said, how is Leo's gastric issues? Leo the lion, so he's been doing well. We've been noticing a lot of urine in the room. And they're right now doing observations if it's Leo or Mansa, because we might have one of them starting to become incontinent, which we don't like to see, but we're not concerned completely yet till we get more observations on the nanny cam and make sure we know what's going on. But right now they both look the same. We are going to be starting our wellness exams again, especially when it comes to the smaller cats. So when we move them and they're due for an exam or vaccines, we're going to take that opportunity to do that. And so right now it's just been a lot of updating things for spring, looking through the USDA list, what maintenance needs to be done. It is not spring, it is February here, but it feels like spring. We even have mud everywhere because the weather's been so good. So we're taking advantage of that and just kind of starting some of those project list early. Somebody's asking how Nala the Bengal's doing. She's actually doing really great. I mean, she's got normal kidney disease for a cat her age, but the caretaker said she's been trying to get on, or excuse me, the interns on the top bunk to sleep with one of them, so that's really good as well. Well, again, if you are a sponsor parent and want any specific updates, you can always email us and we will give you updates on your sponsor cats. Otherwise, we will try to give you updates on moves and mergers prior to everybody else. But a lot of that time is making sure that it is a permanent move or merger, and then also if the cats cooperate for video or photos, because some of them don't cooperate as well as others. But we're really excited to see that we've been able to design and have more positive friends and family units here at the sanctuary, and so we look forward to sharing more of those updates. And I hope you have a great rest of your week.